There's no way I'm doing that.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's because.
But they're all bigger. Everybody who says that, they're complaining about the watch. They're bigger than I am. They weigh about 15, 20 pounds more.
Thank you.
But you're so aerodynamic that like you don't need to put out many watts.
No. I'm like, I try to get like Remco. That's why he's not good at those during COVID.
Yeah.
People were blowing the doors off of him on those Zwift races.
Oh, yeah. Well,
because there's no advantage. I mean, he can crank out more watts than I can.
Yeah.
But his advantage is like Kirk Willett.
yeah. He was a perfect example.
Kirk Willett rode
Guy was like
a 49 centimeter
4'10".
And Dr. Kirk. He's a doctor now.
And he'd just bend his arms and he'd be like, shit.
Yeah.
Jack's just like, let me know when I can talk.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, something that you can talk about.
Oh.
Because we're all just like, Kirk Willett. Yeah. Before we begin, sponsor mentions, Packfiller Online Store, your place for some fun and ever-expanding Packfiller pride. Hats, caps, mugs, shirts, stickers, jerseys, and more. Take a look at packfiller.com. Show off your love of bikes. Untapped maple, everybody. Pure Vermont maple is the Vermont maple is the core, and clean energy is the result. Grape Maple-Aid is their new stuff out, and if it's anything like their other offerings, stand by. Also posted a brilliant homemade granola recipe. Oh, I'm reading off of last week's copy, but it is actually brilliant. They use simple, pure stuff, and it works perfectly. Use the link at Packfiller. And finally, new sponsor alert. Ding, ding. You're never going to believe this, you guys. After praising their name and all of the glory that is watching bike races online, NordVPN is on board with us here.
Wow.
All right? People just like going, you guys, this shit is legit. The internet, you can trick the internet into allowing you to watch all of the bike racing online with a safe, secure, consistent VPN connection. Trust us. We are all NordVPN believers here. Use our link at packfiller.com to get started. And thanks for Nord for coming on board. Now let's get started and play bikes. My computer crashed, and I had to reload all the audio.
That sucks.
Wait, like all those files you had to reload?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you get the bumpers?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fortunately, I downloaded them to an external hard drive. So we're safe. Yeah. Well, after a week off, the entire band is back together, and we're ready to talk bikes on the longest-running cycling podcast out there since 1999. This is the Packfiller Cycling Podcast, and I'm your host, Pat Bulger. Let's get the introductions in tonight's prologue question. Gentlemen, it is February 13th. Notice I said February, not February. Say it right. February.
Yeah, you hit the R.
Fucking say it right. Yeah. What is your philosophy on Valentine's Day? We got a lot of selfish pricks in the room, so I'm anxious to hear how this one goes over. So, your philosophy on Valentine's Day seems a little hot. First off, he's very likely the only one in the bar tonight with actual road miles for 2024. Am I right?
I am.
You been on the road?
No, outside? Absolutely not.
There we go, Mr. Paul Main. I am right with that hunch.
Really?
Yeah.
You rode last weekend.
Yeah, I was trying to get out this weekend, but it sucked.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It's no way.
Paul, what's your philosophy on Valentine's Day?
I am grateful my wife is who she is because both of us are not a big deal. And it's not a big deal, but it was the day that I proposed to my wife.
Oh, that's
29
adorable.
years ago.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and that's like cheesy for it to be
for you
Valentine's
guys.
Day, but what it was, it worked out is I had to refinance my house that I was at. And I told myself, once that's taken care of, whatever that date, I will do it that week. And it happened like 2 days prior to. And I thought, well, this is it. Didn't have a ring, so I made a pipe ring because our kids had like
pipe cleaners,
pipe
like an
cleaners,
art kit.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I had a gold one.
Kids are big pipe smokers.
And I had an old,
you know?
yeah,
yellow teeth.
My son,
shit
yeah,
like
he's
that.
terrible
Yeah.
at it. He's when he's 5, it's like I can't breathe in here. How many?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I made this little ring, and I had an old ring box, and I proposed her on
yeah.
Valentine's Day. And that's about as cheesy as she and I get. We
That's
give
as
each
good
other
as you
cards
get.
and
Do
stuff.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next off, he's finally coming through on his promise for Packfiller Pizza Night, Mr. Dave. Sam Waples. Whoops.
Oh, shit.
Dave's
He's
like,
the older one.
You know what? You have to do it now, David.
Well, I was getting. Wait till I get to David's introduction.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm just grinding away on house projects and trying to ride some. I'm doing a bad job of sticking to my plan. I'm getting all the rides in, but they're just like I'm binge riding, like getting a bunch of them and then stopping for like a week.
Yeah.
So it's not productive, but it's something.
better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. I mean, I'm just trying to hold out till Maui
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Shit. How are you on Valentine's Day? I'm wondering if the younger generation's going to still be practicing Valentinians. I
Hate
just made up
it.
the term. You hate it?
I hate it. I just was having this rant with my wife the other day, like because and fortunately she's in the same boat. She doesn't like Valentine's Day either, but
Wow.
her birthday is the 7th and mine's the 20th. So we're on both sides of that. And so we have so much that it's like, why would we celebrate this one too? Like we don't need another day in there.
Yeah.
So that's our reason. But on top of it, I'm just like, man, you spend so much money. Like things are it's the same stuff that's just marked up tenfold because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, pick like a week before Valentine's Day and celebrate that day. It's my wife's birthday. It's a great day to celebrate.
There you
Everybody can join in.
go. Okay.
All right.
Kenzie's
Put her
birthday.
on our calendar.
Yeah.
There we go. And this, because I screwed up your introduction, this one's not going to have the power. But next, he's probably going to take partial credit for Packfiller Pizza Night. David Waples.
Yeah, probably.
Has no power like David. I like how you threw that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, you know.
All right, Chief. How are you on Valentine's Day?
I'm actually, I think this is going to spark a conversation with my wife when we get home. I don't know if we've ever really defined it, but I think we're both not really Valentine's people. I mean, like, I don't think we need a day to go on, like, a date night. So, like, I think we went on a lovely date last Friday night that would maybe be like a Valentine's Day thing, but we do that all the time, just whenever we have time together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing about, like, to me, I hated it when I was growing up because I dated somebody who put a lot of pressure on Valentine's Day. And then I was just like, man, why do we have to, like, take it so seriously for one day a year?
Yeah.
So I personally don't like it. We've never really talked about it, but we'll find out when I get home.
Wow,
I'm pretty sure she doesn't like it either.
Honey,
God, you know what? Like,
honey, there's some clothes on the lawn. Oh, shit, they're mine. Honey, the lock doesn't work anymore.
I'm going to flip it around. Maybe I do love Valentine's Day. Like, how great would it be if you could just be a total POS, like, all year long, and then you only had to be eating good on one day?
Hold on. We got to
Do
get
I
through all the
love
internet.
Valentine's
We got to
Day?
get on the.
Okay,
we got to
sorry.
get all the introductions because I know somebody in this bar who is a very holiday-oriented person.
And probably this one.
So next off, he knows his midnight blue from his black, Mr. Jackson Bolger.
I do very well.
Yeah, and
Other
I
people
don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I knew it.
I mean, I like all of them. I get excited for St. Patrick's Day. You know, like it's any day to just think it's a little bit fun.
Yeah.
I think that celebrating, like, it doesn't even have to be like celebrating each other. I think it's just celebrating in general is like a fun thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I
I
just like to have a reason to celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I also like Valentine's Day though, because it's like you get like a day that's not an anniversary or a birthday to like celebrate each other, and it's kind of fun. And I'm not one of those people that's just like me and all year round. No, I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But
Really, you strike me as that kind
I
of
know,
No,
right?
total
I really
douche.
do.
Total
yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just
Skips a generation.
yeah. I just think it's I think it's fun to celebrate. So I'm a big fan of it.
All right.
Like father, like
Here
son.
it comes.
Me, I'm Pat Bolger, and I'm bringing meat to the pizza party.
Yes.
Good.
Nice.
I'm going to bring a little Tupperware containers.
If I drink enough, I might even end up eating some of it.
There we go.
All right.
I'm not a fan of Valentine's Day. I haven't been for a long time.
Are you
it's-
anti?
No. Well, the funny thing is it's funny because Jackson just mentioned it, and I thought, God, that's a wonderful way to look at it. Why don't I look at it that way?
Because you're
Because
negative.
you're Pat.
Yeah, because I'm
Pat Bolger.
burned, I'm bitter, and I'm angry. Because I've always, like, for example, when I stopped doing this, and I shouldn't have, but when I got married to my wife, we got married on the 21st of May. And for about 7 or 8 years, on the 21st of every month, I would buy my wife some flowers. Just bring it to just kind of a thing like that. Just, it's just like, hey, it is cool. It was cool because back then I got paid on the 20th, so I know it'd pop into my head, and I'm like, oh, I got to go buy flowers. And I liked doing that, and that was something I would just do. And now occasionally, when I go to Trader Joe's or something like that, I'll see the flowers, and I'll buy flowers or something like that.
You bastard. I'm going to look like a piece of crap.
No.
I don't think I bought my wife flowers probably twice in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, but I'll buy them because I know it's something she really likes, and I'll do that kind of stuff. And then I think about Valentine's Day, where it's like, so you're a douchebag all year long. You're some sort of asshole real estate agent who cheats on your wife. I'm just picking careers. We just lost the real estate
dentists are
audience.
Pinarellos.
The dentists are Pinarellos.
Cheaters are-
Real estate agents
it's
are
just-
banging other people.
So that's like 80% of our audience.
But you're doing that, and then all of a sudden Valentine's Day, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna take her out to the nicest place in town because I'm an asshole. It's like, fuck. Come on, man. Just be a nice person all the time. Celebrate the little things like Jackson does. And I guess so there we go.
Wear some pink.
Yeah,
That's a nice thing about
only on
Valentine's
Wednesdays.
Day.
Yeah. So there we go. I just lost half our audience. See if I show him that house. Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. Time to rub it in. I've been off the bike pretty much for 2 weeks straight. I did ride on Sunday and Monday for the first time. Well, indoors, so it doesn't count. For the first time in probably over 2 weeks. So let me have it. Who's been training properly? Just throw it at me. Who's been up to speed?
Binging.
Yeah.
Like I said, binging.
Now, are you talking like short, intense workouts, or are you talking about like...
I mean, I changed my training plan. I'm trainer road still, but they just
One day a
released...
week.
Yeah, 1 day a week. They
Yeah.
just released the Masters training plan.
I saw that.
I'm
Really?
on it. I
Bro.
love it. I love it.
You're like 32, right?
Masters is around the corner. I'm ready for it.
I just made eye contact with Paul. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, they're not even
You
masters
have
yet?
no
And I've been
idea.
swearing a lot tonight already.
Yeah.
I understand that.
But-
I'm not keeping track.
But like, what I do like about it is, I'm a firm believer because of my career path being PT that like in the world of physical therapy, we take into account everything that you're doing, right? And so if I have a hard training program, I've now taken on stress of remodeling my house, I'm still working a full-time job, and then everything else that it's like something's got to give, right? And so instead, looking at all that is workload. So I'm decreasing my riding, and honestly, I'm still throwing in strength training, all that stuff. So I still feel good about it, but it's just different. Like, I take all that stuff into account.
when I was in a band, I used to count playing the drums as a legit workout.
That would be a legit workout.
I was actually kind of making fun of myself, and in their way, backhandedly making fun of you.
No,
at the same
that's a
time.
workout.
It is on Whoop, and it is on Apple.
Drumming?
Right there.
Wow.
Maybe that's why your shoulders are so jacked.
Neil Peart style.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't do that. Jackson, I stalk you on Strava.
Okay.
You know that. And like you finish a workout, and my phone goes like, "Bing!" Jackson did it, and I'm like, "Damn it! I gotta go get on the bike." Pat, you can't. Wow, that was interesting.
Physics.
Yeah, but you've been pretty consistent.
Yeah, consistency is what I need to do, or else I won't really get anything done. But it's been good. I am really seeing. Yesterday was a big indicator of seeing some progress from the beginning of, I would say, fall-ish to now. It's bigger numbers are beginning to feel a little bit easier. So
How long would
it's-
to stop? 300? 400? 500? 600 watts? Dude, oh my God.
FTP is 600.
not FTP, not even close. No, FTP is still. I don't work FTP.
Yeah,
Oh, good man.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
work the
you work the high end.
peaks.
Really? I did just some Zone 2 shit, and it felt really good.
That's all I wanna
get back
do.
on it. Yeah.
Zone 2.
That's a lazy man's workout.
I know. I want to do it.
Yeah, I was on the bike for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Felt pretty good. I might have got a pit. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm not getting off of one of my intervals and I can like kind of see out of my right eye, then I didn't do it right.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
how I
like
feel.
dry heaving.
Yeah.
What do you? Is base training no longer a thing? I mean, nobody's like,
No. That went away.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Talking about like big miles and stuff.
Welcome
Like
to the
long,
2000s.
Well, what if you want to?
LSD long slow distance.
What if you want to train for something of distance, but you guys are all going like, I'm going to do 48 minutes at. I'll stop when my eyes are bleeding.
It depends on I think it depends on the discipline that you're wanting to race. I was watching the Lifetime Grand Prix, which puts out a really good series if anybody wants to.
Their
watch
video
it.
series
Call
are
of a
brilliant.
Lifetime.
Are
It's
brilliant.
very good.
Yeah, they're very good.
But like, let's say you're a racer like that, those type of distances would matter. But like, as a road racer, especially in the current era where there's not a lot of road races going on, this short, intense stuff is kind of what we would want to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
David, you train?
Sustained power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was skiing for a week, so that interrupted things. Since, everybody in the world probably has crappy snow, Canada didn't have any better snow, so that was just a week of sitting around drinking beer.
Hey, those pints
That's
are heavy.
training.
That's a recovery week.
Yeah.
Those pints are heavy, man.
They were,
It's
they
repeated
were.
efforts.
Yeah, after you have
16-ounce curls.
Yeah.
16 ounce overall.
Keep those things going.
But I'm still just doing the trainer road. I actually backed down to 4 days a week though. I'm just tired of being on.
You're soft.
I'm tired of being on a trainer 5 days a week for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's Jackson and Paul were talking about that when they walked in the studio tonight. They're just like going, okay, I'm ready for training.
I want to go
Indoor training to
outside.
be over.
Yeah, I'm like just tired of. I don't look forward to it anymore.
But are you willing to go out when it's piss and rain and or starting to snow?
Definitely not. Nope.
See? Okay.
Not right now. I mean, I almost went mountain biking the other day. It was really nice. On
Yeah.
a
I'm
weekend,
going to get on the mountain. I'll be on the mountain bike before I'll be on the road. Doing beacon, like up and
Well,
down.
make sure the trails are good. Don't beat the shit
No,
out
I'm
of
going to
the
be one of
trails.
those guys that's just like, screw it.
Yeah, skid through the
Yeah.
corner just because, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. You take care of them. Yeah, okay. I just shaved my legs for the first time since October. I do want that to be
Why?
known.
That's what I want to know. Why'd you do that?
Well, first of all, you can't tell my arms because I did recently shave my arms after going to the hospital because the bless her heart, the woman who was trying to, and I'm not saying it's because of a woman, just the person. She was a woman. She was standing there. She was a woman.
I don't think anybody's
Who
taking
was
it that
in
way.
charge? I'm sensitive about it, and I'm terrified about getting tackled.
I think we're all good here.
She's like, how do you say all nurses are women? No, it's not that case. She was looking for places to do the IV, and she shaved like 5 or 6 places, and my arm looked like it was mildly
Patchwork.
She couldn't,
checkerboarded
like,
down
find-
there.
She was like cutting through this bush to like
Pretty
find
much.
where's the artery down
Pretty
here?
much, yeah. I have naturally have very hairy arms, and so my arms are completely shaved. But if you were to see that, you would know that what my legs looked like after not shaving since October. I mean, I had David's face on my kneecaps.
I'm really interested. Who of the past, since October,
Yeah.
who has been consistently shaving their legs?
Thank you. You're
Wow.
ready to host the show.
Yeah.
I always have a tradition of doing it on New Year's Day.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. So
First
is that-
time.
First
so you
time.
let it go.
I let go right after my last race,
Okay.
always
Okay.
when I'm not racing, and it was in August this year.
David, I'm gonna be on.
I stopped when
I was
Peter
gonna say,
stopped.
yeah. I don't know if you count
Years
on this
ago.
one.
Yeah, I'm not about to do that again.
You're not going to shave?
No, I will trim my buzz my leg hair, but I will never shave again.
Why?
No, it's too much work. I'm like you. I have as much hair as you on my legs.
But-
it's not worth it.
It's oogie.
Yeah, it's,
I would do it if we had a good race that was actually very well timed.
Wow, it was-
Yeah. I would do it for like a big race. I almost did it for Montana. And then because Sam was over here talking so much spitting so much game on these people, making it sound
Bullshit.
like it was
Yeah.
He's like, "It's never
the only
been a big
reason I
race."
got dropped was because my legs weren't totally shaved.
Well, anyways, it got me less excited. I was like, I'm not gonna shave. My legs will be pokey for weeks.
Yeah,
So
that's what drives me crazy. What point do you like let it grow out?
Never. I haven't
After?
stopped shaving. I haven't stopped.
You're consistently
I
year
haven't
round.
stopped year round. Yep.
Yeah,
man.
I used to do
Good
that.
man.
That
This-
was me years ago.
This is the season of Valentine's Day. What does your significant other think of shaved legs?
Well, I guess it depends on where you stop.
Yeah.
Well, we're not.
That's a great point.
Let's not get into that.
Why?
Why not? Yeah, let's get into it.
Some of us,
Is that a Batman figure?
some of us.
Well, I thought it was Valentine's Day, so I'd do it a heart. And
Then I got into it.
yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
man.
What does your wife think of shaved legs, Jackson?
If I have hairy legs at this point, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's just been so long. It's been since my freshman year of college, which is 6 years.
Wow.
That's how my wife was. And then because I started shaving and she's like, ew, gross, that's disgusting. And then I shaved my legs for probably 6 years all the time.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, screw this. And I stopped. And then she was like, ew, gross, why do you have leg hair?
Yeah.
But now I think it would go back to you don't shave your legs. You know?
Really?
I think so. I don't know.
I wasn't allowed to move in the bed when
Yeah.
because it was so
'Cause-
sharp. My legs were so sharp. It was like if you move, you're gonna tear the sheets and my skin.
Dude, upgrade the sheets. You're a doctor, for God's sakes.
It wasn't back then. So maybe now I'll get nicer sheets and shave again.
Yeah. Now, flannels are tough.
They
with freshly shaven legs.
No, that's
I-
glides.
It is so
Yeah, but
nice.
give it
Not
like 2
fresh.
days.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
2 day later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're
No,
peeling.
mine would be 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
That's when
Lucky
that
you.
starts.
Fair, yeah.
It is so nice to have shaved legs and get into bed.
Yeah.
That is a feeling that everyone should experience.
You kidding me? Pulling on a pair of pants.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
Excellent.
yeah.
And then
Oh,
give it
yeah.
2 days, and it's like the worst fucking feeling. you
I
ever
know.
had.
That's
Like,
why
it sucks.
And that's why I'm just like, it's not worth it. I don't want to shave every couple days.
My wife,
Really?
when I met her, she knew I was a cyclist. Didn't think anything about my shaved legs. Then when we consummated our relationship, she's
All
like,
right.
"That's freaking weird." Because obviously the legs rub together and stuff.
Yeah.
And so,
But now.
and then later on, I think about 6 months later, I was at my little brother's house who had a pool, and my dad was there, and my older brother and I were all standing by the pool and talking. And she said she looked over and looked at their legs and like, ooh, they've got hair on them.
Yeah.
Like she's just switched.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's my wife is 100% into that now. She's just
Yeah.
like, no, your legs are gross.
yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to shave it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I see how that would happen, but I just don't
It
wanna
is a
go
great
through
way
it
to
again.
to claim your side of the bed, though. It just one little zit, and like,
Also, I mean, slight change, but on the same topic. Doesn't that guys make you feel like race ready? Like when I shaved my
Absolutely.
legs, I think I shaved my legs for RC3 maybe this year. I don't remember, but I remember being like, oh wow, it's time to race.
It's the thing. I'm always race ready.
Yeah.
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 Race tomorrow.
yeah.
Ready.
If the leg hair
You're
can
on call.
poke,
Yeah,
if the leg hair can poke
exactly.
through the thigh of your shorts, that's messed up.
Oh, it will this spring.
Oh yeah.
Sam's comes out as the
Butt
the
everywhere.
butt chamois. You
Yeah.
can see hair coming out.
That's
Yeah.
you got to do something about that.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
good waxing.
unsolvable.
But
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
raises
Brazilian-
40-year-old virgin style.
this is
Well, right.
raises the issue. Where do you stop?
Mhm.
You know, for him, he's gonna have a weird
On my back.
hairy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus.
exactly. You're gonna have a shirt line.
Yeah.
I stop where the leg stops. Where the leg becomes your hip.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got boxer.
So
briefs
if-
or
I'm
something.
drawing some weird imagery right
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
I'm picturing. For me,
you
I-
gotta
I-
grab and pull to the side so you can get up there.
All right, we're going there.
Especially if you're like a continental soldier.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure things are out of the way.
Are you talking about a fupa or a penis?
I don't think.
I think both his twig and berries he's getting out of the way.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I thought we were
No,
talking
it's
about a fupa.
fupa. Yeah, his fupa for sure.
It's like okay.
No, fat
Oh.
above pubic area. Okay, it's when you have the little fat fold.
No,
above.
I don't have that. Fuck you. I don't have a dad bod. Good looking sack of man.
Oh my gosh.
Jackson's like,
Great
oh
topic.
man.
That is
No,
the real,
yeah,
that is the real.
but you go
I'm
all
not
the way
going to
up,
talk about this one.
all the way up to the hip joint, right?
Oh yeah.
Right.
My hair doesn't grow on my thigh, so I
Oh,
don't have
so
to
you
worry
don't.
about it.
You don't
Yeah.
You're
bother.
so lucky that you have like very
fair
little
hair.
have
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
I have a contract with Brillo.
They want your hair.
Yeah,
You put it in the bag.
Yeah,
kinda
there you
like-
go.
You know, people.
Great. These will scrub some
Are you saving those locks for
cast
cancer?
iron
No,
pants.
for Brillo.
For Brillo.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You cannot refer to each other. I want to know, why do cyclists shave their legs? What do you tell people when they ask, why do cyclists shave their legs? Jackson.
I say for crashing reasons,
Okay.
because I have crashed a lot in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's way better to clean out your shaven legs than your unshaven legs.
Okay.
And technically, it is a slight aerodynamic advantage.
Okay. You pick one.
Oh, well, I picked two.
Okay.
It's my bad.
Sam.
I mean,
why do cyclists shave their legs?
I use those same two reasons, but my number one reason is crashing, and it's bandaging. Like taking, when you bandage, then you have to clean that bandage, and you take that off.
Yeah.
It's like getting waxed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Paul, why do cyclists shave their legs?
You queued up. Did you queue up?
No, I
Oh,
was
all
going
right,
to
all
cue
right.
up the screen, but I couldn't find it.
Okay. Originally, when I was racing a lot, it was for massages, and it's a lot better
Oh, yeah.
because I would get weekly massages. And if you have even the little hair that I have, sometimes it's
Yeah.
so it makes you cringe. But now that I'm older and I don't get massages, certainly crashes. You know, bandages and only that scab with a hair in it, and you go picking those babies. Yeah,
yeah.
you're taking a hair with it. So
David, why do cyclists shave their legs?
I mean, I always would say the crash thing, but I gotta be honest. When I used to shave my legs, it was because it made me
Vanity.
feel fast. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like it makes your legs look bigger, like more defined, and
When
you feel
that
fast.
shit's
Yeah.
glistening,
I
under
wasn't
a-
thinking
a
about crashing.
Nighttime
Do you oil?
twilight crit.
Sometimes
You feel like a
I used
hero.
to, yeah, I
I'm
used
going to say this right now that all of you are full of shit except for David. Because let's be honest. You do it because other cyclists do it and it looks good.
to- Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if I rode unshaven, most people would not know. So for me, that does not work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't shave my legs though. Like I only shave
Oh,
my
we
legs
know.
during the during the race because of crashing.
It's like, what
I
is
did
that sound?
definitely
What's
back
that
in the day.
whistling sound?
Yeah,
Sam
back in the
didn't
day
shave.
when I would shave my legs, I definitely God, I remember one time. Did you do that too? One of our teammates shows up with freaking coconut oil to put on
That's
our
what we were
legs.
just talking about.
Yeah.
Oiled up.
Yeah. we
Yeah.
should-
Hold up
Yeah.
the legs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you feel fast.
You look down at your legs, you're like, I'm fast.
Oh, fast tonight.
Those are slippery.
Yeah.
But like, be honest, you're
Alright.
not taking that like second and third stroke with the razor, getting it buttery soft for the crash. You know.
Well, and I was glad that,
Yeah.
Jackson brought up the aerodynamic advantage, but I was glad that the rest of you, that it is what some people say.
Technically.
But if aerodynamic advantages was the true key, why are people not shaving their arms, and why is facial hair so popular in the pro peloton?
Didn't they test beards in the wind tunnel?
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Specialized.
Anton,
Yeah, and it was like negligible, or it didn't have any effect
because it's in front of your torso.
Yep.
Oh.
But legs was actually
Yeah, there's actually an effect with legs, and I think there was with arms.
with arms too.
Well, there we go.
They
Jackson,
slowly shaved this. homie.
you can have both of your reasons.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's get to the news. You guys, because we're basically making a new segment tonight. This new segment has a new name, introducing headlines and commentary. What's the first letters of each of those?
HC.
The HC. Or
Headquarters.
category.
You are just
Some-
crushing it.
Like I'm not as dumb as I look, right?
Yeah.
Sponsored by our friends at Scratch Labs. You've all probably wondered what this wonderful little bag
Yeah,
over
I've been
here is.
waiting for it.
Scratch Labs, everybody, has a limited edition cookie mix.
I just saw this on Instagram.
And I saved the last 4 cookies of our first batch of the cookie mix. Wow. And you guys have to be able to contribute to the show whilst eating a cookie mix. This is honestly a bag of Scratch. All you have to do is add an egg, butter, and then whatever toppings you want in it. I put in 2 types of chocolate chips, dark chocolate and regular chocolate, and craisins, cranberry raisins.
Damn.
Gentlemen, for initial thoughts. Jackson's at least leaning away from the microphone so we don't hear.
Oh, I prefer that. It's like
Yeah.
my Skittle game.
Initial thoughts.
That's a good cookie.
It doesn't.
I eat a lot of cookies.
Has a cinnamony kind of a taste to it, don't you think?
I guess it doesn't really taste any like it's any different of a cookie mix than anything else would be. You know.
Yeah, but it doesn't give you that heartburn.
Put those in your jersey pocket, baby.
You know?
Yeah, it doesn't seem overly sweet.
Yeah.
You
Or
cooked
oily.
it nice.
Yeah.
I like the chew, not too
And that's
raw.
going
It's good.
on. I did those on Sunday. So that's how long they. No, yeah, Sunday. So that's how long they've had time, and they're still a little
Cranberries are
soft.
Wonderful addition.
These are very good, but I think what we all need to draw attention to is the fact that Sam did say that these don't give you heartburn.
What kind of cookie gives you heartburn?
Maybe you should be
Oh, a lot
training
of-
with the Masters program.
Yeah, a lot of cookies
Yeah.
with all the sticks of
Because
butter
I've
in them.
never gotten a heartburn.
This
from
has
any
it.
Really?
He-
This
he's
has
trying to
butter in
get
it.
Tums
No, I know
as
it
a
has
sponsor.
butter, but like there's some cookies that are so buttery. Are you kidding me? I'm the only person here that's ever experienced heartburn from cookies.
No, you can't.
Have you ever gotten heartburn?
No.
David, have you ever gotten heartburn?
I get it all the time.
Maybe it's
God, it's a
familial
Whipple
Have you,
thing.
Paul?
I have
Yeah,
like
when I eat like crap. When I eat crap food, like fast food stuff.
Oh, ever getting
But not-
heartburn?
not from
Period.
cookies.
I mean, from
From
cookies.
cookies. From
No,
cookies.
not
Not
Yeah,
from
but
cookies.
have you
Oh.
eaten shitty cookies? Like just
No,
like
I don't eat shitty cookies.
yeah, that's my point.
well,
Yes, I've
Like-
eaten a
I
lot
couldn't
of
tell
shitty
you if it
cookies.
gives me.
No.
Like
I
a
couldn't
lot
tell
of
you
them.
if it gives me because I don't eat shitty cookies.
we get it. You have a great lower esophageal sphincter. Rub it in.
And,
Mine's just lazy as shit. And it
you have 2 sphincters.
Acid just.
We all
more than,
Erupting.
there's way more than that, actually. Yeah.
How many sphincters does the human body have, David? How many sphincters do I
Isn't
have?
there 12?
What the?
No,
Maybe
actual
more than that
F?
because your tear ducts.
in your GI tract, you've got
And your GI
you've got
tract.
2 on one on each side of the stomach. You've got technically 2 in your butthole. And
Isn't there
Yeah,
also like
pylori-
between like all the
cardiac,
intestines,
pylori.
yep.
the jejunum, the like all of
No,
those
no,
have
no.
spe-
No, just no, just
All of a
between
sudden,
this-
my body's like
this
the
is a
desert in
sphincter.
Zune.
That's a sphincter.
I guess you could
I
make
have
this
gotten no answer to your
Then
question.
tear ducts.
I thought we had
get
one.
back after further research.
The sphincter.
The
The,
capital the.
the sphincter.
No, well,
So, Scratch Labs.
boy, we're all over the map today.
You guys use the link at packfiller.com. This is a
This is
limited
good.
cookie edition, cookie batter, and it comes in a bag just like regular Scratch. You put in the ingredients, mix it together, done. That's what Scratch does. They offer all this kind of stuff all over the place, and it's great stuff. So on to the news while everybody chews in the background. And if you have a problem with the sound of human chewing like I do when my sister used to chew her cereal, what I think intentionally with her mouth open.
It's a
you're
YouTube
saying
thing.
something made me-
It's like a
ASMR.
YouTube fetish. Yeah.
It's ASMR.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's what it
welcome.
is.
In a good way?
Yeah.
People like that.
Like they listen to people eating noodles.
What?
Yeah. It's
People-
Is that like the
stupid.
bread thing where people like brush the top of like
No.
bread and
people talk in a specific way, so they talk very saliva-y. Hello, like they do
Oh.
that. Yeah,
I do
that's,
that.
But that's like a thing. People really
I
like
do
to
that
watch
to
that.
people where I'll do
anyways,
the-
News.
That's bad.
Saudi Arabian proposal for the new cycling league. SRJ Sports Investment, the sports arm of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, has reportedly entered exclusive talks to back a new cycling league in the latest move by the kingdom to increase its influence over global sports industry. Hold commentary, because I know we got some pisses me off. Citing sources close to the deal, news outlet Reuters said SRJ Sports Investment is looking to invest around $270 million into the project, which is being headed by several European cycling teams. Teams linked to the project include Visma Lisa Bike, Ineos Grenadiers, which is owned by billionaire businessman Jim Ratcliffe, both of which compete on obviously the top tier of the UCI World Tour, sorry. It is understood that the teams involved believe the majority of profits from top events, including the Tour de France, go to the organizers, and the new league will be a way to redistribute earnings more evenly. The commercial aspects of the deal are expected to be finalized with SRJ over the next few months after the fund beat other interested investors, including private equity firm CVC, to the punch. So apparently the Grand Tour promoters are not, at least of yet, on board. The Flanders Classics group has been apparently showing some interest within this, and the idea would likely benefit the bigger races and teams, but hurt smaller events and upstart teams, as they would not have access to some of these larger events. So, initial thoughts on this. I know that sports washing is going to be a topic that creeps into this, where we are seeing very similar things that just recently happened in the sport of golf. The game of golf. It's not a fucking sport.
There goes the other half of our viewers.
I hate golf with a passion of 1,000 suns. I cannot stand. My email is patrick@packfiller.com. If you want to talk to me about how golf is cool, I am more than happy to go at it with you. I won't do this on social media. My father used to make me play golf all the goddamn time. And then he'd kick my ball because ready to play. And I'm just like, oh, fuck that game.
There's some therapy for that.
So, yeah. You guys brought it up. I got a lot to get through.
Yeah.
Does this seem like a viable cycling business model? And what does the Saudi Arabian investment group stand to benefit from something like this?
So, this is a crazy topic because there's actually something near on identical to what's going on in soccer called the European Super League. And what goes on is it's pretty much the richest clubs in Europe, right? So the Real Madrids, the Manchester Uniteds, the Manchester Cities, the Barcelonas, all those type of teams, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, all going in on the same exact league where it'd be probably the richest clubs in the world. All, I think 20 of them? Yeah, 20 richest clubs in the world going in. And there is a relegation system and all that. It's a regular league, but it would take over for another club competition called the UEFA Champions League. And it's really just pretty much exactly what you just described. And
elitism at its finest.
Exactly. And we're seeing these like really small clubs like a Brighton that's a really good team but just not well off enough financially to be able to vie for those top spots. And so it's crazy that we are starting to see that. What did you call it? Sport washing?
Yeah.
Yeah. To answer the question though, is it a viable business opportunity model? Yeah. Honestly, if all the rich clubs go in on it or all the rich teams go in on it, like, who's to say it isn't?
What's the rest of the sport going to do? When you've got, yes, we have world tour teams at this level, just like a soccer, high-end soccer league would have, and teams get relegated, as we've seen now as a new format that cycling has adapted. We have wildcard teams that are entered into certain races. Tour de France. If you're a French continental team, chances are you're going to get into the Tour de France. But is this going to create even more exclusivity based upon massive amounts of dollars? And at what point does these oil-producing Saudi Arabian, Middle Eastern countries start to just completely own everything, and there's nothing left?
Well, I bet it depends on viewership. Once you get the viewers, I can't lose it. I bet you this first round of ideas will be declined. The teams will say, no, we don't want to do this. And then they'll come up with the second version of it.
Is that a good thing? Anybody? Paul's rolling his eyes. Paul's like, I'm going to let everybody else go first, and then I'm going to unleash.
Well, I was sitting at the coffee shop with my friend Marks and Engels, and they went over there at Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx. To me, it's the rich gets richer situation.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You look at the teams that really, the richest two teams are the ones that you've listed already.
Yeah.
So what is the advantage of joining this league? There's a lot of people pissed off at the ASO because they have a lock on the biggest bike race and bike races outside of that, the Vuelta, and they also do Liège, Bastogne-Liège, the longest running one-day classic, a monument. Paris-Roubaix, and so they get this lock, and they are piggish about their royalties and stuff. A lot of people think that should be shared, that should trickle down for smaller teams to get some of the piece of that pie, and you earn what you earn. So I do not like the idea. One, what are the Saudis? To me, cycling is a huge historical sport. I mean, it is outside of baseball. History is like the biggest thing to cycling in order for it to continue on. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's their interest. It's all about money. When the Saudis are throwing money out and saying, "Hey, we got a league and you guys all can share it." So what's gonna be the fallback when they said, "Nah, we're bored with this. We'll pull the plug." There's no safety. The thing what we have right now is history, and a lot of people are willing to give. To me, like here's an example where people will pour out money out of their own pocket. Paris-Roubaix Junior, the junior race, was going to be disqualified or quit running just for financial reasons. John Degenkolb helps out and tries to raise money to redo. You buy a cobblestone, they redo the surface and stuff, and that money goes to, you can help to pay for the junior race. That's what history and tradition has, as opposed to just throwing money at something and trying to create something. And it becomes more to me like the NBA. When I grew up, the NBA was like the pinnacle. I can't stand watching the NBA. It's all about the 3-point line. Now, a lot of people are going, turn it off. But and it's 5 spread, and they sit outside the 3-point, and they pass it around a little bit, and somebody breaks to the basket, and they try to alley-oop, or there's somebody, and if that's shut down, they throw it back to the outside to the open guy, and he shoots the 3. And they wander down, and they do it on the other end. And that's what pro racing's going to get to, I think. Pretty soon, it's just this, glamour, watered down, your heroes are going to win, everybody, whatever. So, yeah, I think it would be a disaster. I do wish there was some way to share for the smaller teams, but I'm not smart enough to figure that out.
Yeah.
So,
something that Paul, when you were talking, made me really think about this was my real reference is soccer. That's the sport that I, other than cycling, pay attention to the most. And a few years ago, there was a big move for everybody to go to the Chinese Super League, and there was like money, like unbelievable money, like money that we can't wrap our heads around. And after a while, people started to realize the quality of that league, or like the money kind of started to run out. And so I think what you said, Paul, about the whole like what if the Saudi Arabian countries really go, this isn't really that fun anymore. And then you start to realize that, hey, like the quality has diminished to an unbelievable amount, and that's where riders or players go to die. And then really nobody wants to watch it because it's one of those things where it's predictable. A lot of people call the NFL scripted. Well, was what we watched last weekend a little bit scripted? Probably a little bit, and everybody kind of expected it. And then it gets to that point where it's like, is this pro league of cycling going to be like very much scripted? It's just the quality, I think, is going to diminish if this is something that really does happen.
Are you talking about Taylor? Because I don't.
No, I just.
Because that wasn't scripted. That's real love, man.
Oh no,
that is real.
I believe in that, but it's like
in every single ounce of that.
Who would have thought?
Romeo, take me somewhere we can be alone.
But I mean, my whole thing with this whole Super Bowl thing was that like the greatest player of this generation is down. Everybody's hoping that he does, like he can come back from it, and then he does in like the most dramatic possible way. It's like
I have one little tidbit about money into things, and I find this interesting as an individual too. When you ask, I saw this I was listening to NPR years ago, and they were asking, how much more money would it take for you to find total happiness? And realistically, instead of just tons of money, and people say 10%. And that 10% went from people who were making $25,000 a year to, $250 million. They still thought they needed 10% more.
Every demographic.
Still, realistically, the average was around 10%. We really don't need all that money. But when it's flashed, what happens is things get distorted and people get, like, wait a minute, I put a lot of money in this team. It's my turn to win. And that's how I feel like some of the upper echelon sports are getting, and I don't want cycling to go down that route.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our drug problem. We got enough. So,
and we run into the I think, Paul, you sometimes when we wax
sentimental.
historical about cycling being the sport of the people and things like that. And if this becomes such a high budget monetary thing, where will it go? Where will it take? Are we going to suddenly be seeing more? You got to pay to spectate. You got to, it's not where you can
100%.
be on the side of the road and reach out and practically touch your heroes. Are we going to run into this separation and this monetization of everything to the fact where it becomes a stadium-based sport?
Which is kind of what they did to XC mountain bike racing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cross-country mountain bike racing is nothing like what it originally was.
I got one more thing to say about your topic there, and I don't want to bogart the whole topic, but the friends that
David's just wondering if Peter Sagan is still racing on a pro peloton.
Can't figure it out.
So Dismount Dave and I in 2018 when we went and found these 5 guys at Paris-Roubaix, and I interviewed for your show. And stuff. They were on there. We became friends and everything, and one of the things, they don't go to the Ronde van Vlaanderen, the Tour de Flanders, because of the promoters have created a route where they pass the Claremont and the Patersburg, and they have VIP tents, and all these rich people come in, and so the people have to find other directions. They boycott it.
Yeah.
And they said Paris-Roubaix is still the race of the people. And he says in Paris-Roubaix, there's no VIP stuff. You go wherever you want to go, and that's that. And so that's, I think, the direction when you listed the Flanders Classic.
Yeah.
Those people are looking for money, and they're trying to figure out a way to make money. And that's you can see where people are, I think people are getting frustrated with it. So,
God, I hope we don't lose those.
No.
There are changes, and we talk about the history of the sport. We talk about changes that are being constantly rethought and ways in which to do it. There have been some in the news lately. Some in particular, which have been very interesting. Changes within the sport to help it grow. Number one, shortening stages. Thoughts about shortening the distance of bike races. Sam, you gave me a...
Yeah, I've thought about that before quite a bit, and it would make I think races more exciting. Make them, just make them shorter.
You're talking about
I think that a pro race could be 60 to at most 80 miles and be thrilling.
Jax has got his
hate
jaw
that
on
idea.
the floor.
That's great. I like what I like about pro racing too is that it's almost like kind of like a it depends on the stage. It's a bit of like a war of attrition in some cases, that like you've been doing like 80 miles and then you got to climb one of the toughest climbs in all of cycling. Like that is a ridiculous ask of a human being to do. I mean, of course it would make it more exciting and we skip through all the other stuff, but it's like, I don't know why I'm such a traditionalist when it comes to that stuff. I like the length of the stages. I like when Tadej Pogacar is burnt to the core and he's been doing like 100+ miles and still like destroying the rest of the field. It's so exciting.
Or when Tadej, for example, didn't fuel right and it lost him the Tour.
Yeah, because I think that makes it like with 60 miles, boom, like you don't have to fuel right. It's just pure on adrenaline racing. You don't have to do anything right at that moment. I think that's like, it's such a strategic game that I think that without the length of the stage, you kind of take away a lot of that.
I just think though that it just depends on the planning of the routes, but like at the Tour de Bloom first stage is like 10,500 vert and 65 miles, doing something like you can still get you could just make the hills so they're just doing pass after pass after pass instead of any kind of recovery in there. You can make these roads just like savage, And so,
but that does take a little bit of the spectator element out of what we see in pro cycling, where you've got these long stretches where people in small towns are coming out and and things like that. No, I'm not saying one's better than the other. Another one is the shortening of Grand Tours. It does 3 weeks need to be the length of a Grand Tour. Yes?
Yeah.
It does. Paul?
Yeah, I think it's tradition. I think the Vuelta at one time was a little bit shorter, like in the early days.
Yeah.
That's the youngest of them. But I think that's fine. When it comes to length of stages, I don't think if you look at the '87 Tour de France when Stephen Roche won, I think there was 22 stages, 23 stages. They were like an extra 1,000 kilometers more. It was crazy. They had long, just horrendous
Transfer stages kind of thing.
Yeah, and even their mountain stages, they were brutal long. And I think there's a fine line between making them too short or too long. If they're too long, I think that's when drugs start opening up. You think about '87. How am I going to recover from this? I mean, it's just day after day, and people are just. I mean, even the greatest athletes are going to break down.
Human body can only handle so much.
You can't recover after a certain point. So I think there's got to be a balance there. I think 3 weeks is good. They have plenty of. They have 2 rest days. I think they've got it nailed down the way it is
the
now.
format.
Yeah, I think they're not as long as they used to be in the '80s, in the early '90s, and even through the '90s. I think they shortened those up, and I think that's maybe some of the reason why we don't have drug popping up.
I think keep the pro-am and the amateur stuff, or start shortening that, but keep the Grand Tours,
Don't
the
change.
classics. Yeah, I mean those are the things that like you look at those riders and you're like, yeah, these people they're different, man. These people are like, they're just not right. Like you go look at some of the Strava for these athletes and you're like, okay, yeah, they're wild.
Yeah,
These people are nonstop.
How about the ultimate one that came out in the press recently? Substitutions during Grand Tours.
Did a movie star recommend that or something?
Yeah. The ability to actually change riders. How the hell? I think we can all believe it's bullshit, right?
In the first
I don't
week
know.
is
I mean,
what they were talking about.
I mean, because I would think about it. It'd be like going, okay, I got my leader in yellow. I'm going to get rid of all the support riders and bring in a whole new fresh crew. It's
like a line change in hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Nah.
It's now I understand the philosophy behind it is, Enric Mas from Movistar lost him in the first day. Our entire team budget and our entire team focus is gone. I feel sorry for you, but that's bike racing, isn't it?
It's just one of those sports that you don't substitute. Unfortunately, you just can't. I mean. I don't like it. They tried it in the crit league here, and it was dumb. It was bad. I remember watching NorCal Cycling saying that it was just not a good format.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? So if it can't work at such a tiny little level,
is that going again next year? I don't
know.
I
don't know if money wise it can really handle it anymore. But if it's dumb at a little level, why do we think, let's go big?
Yeah.
Let's do that. That's such a bad idea.
I would play devil's advocate in saying that, what I saw was that they were recommending for the first week. And I would say that it's a good idea if you have an injured cyclist, right? So if you have somebody crash and they can't start the next day because of some horrific injury that they had, and I don't know how you'd quantify that for, it's like road rash. It doesn't qualify.
Yeah.
Right? Broken collarbone. Yeah, okay, sub them out. You couldn't sub out a leader, but you could sub out like one of the workhorses, and there'd have to be some kind of a deadline, like in the first 5 days, or I don't know.
As you're saying this, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going, okay, that could technically make sense if they went in behind the amount of hours that have been ridden. Let's say they've ridden 15 hours.
Yeah.
You're 15 hours behind overall. But what does that do to a fresh leg of sprinter?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I bring in my second best sprinter because Mark Cavendish crashed out, and I've got a fresh sprinter in there. That's bullshit. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because they could, you could have a team that just has people standing by, but the other reality is like these people haven't trained for the tour, right? Like they have their A group. These are the guys that are going.
They should have to race the race just behind the peloton.
There's no way to regulate that because that could be part of your strategy too.
Yeah,
that's
you
what
could
I'm
look
saying.
at
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a reasonable way to fix that. I think that is also part of the draw to the tour, is that a team that loses, well, if here's an example, there's a YouTube video called Plan B about Jumbo Visma.
Yeah.
When things went, that is exciting about cycling. If you understand that part, maybe it's hard for the general public to understand because of the way racing works. It's like, okay, Roglic is out. What are we going to do? We're going to go for stages. And then that changes everything, the dynamics. And that's like I hate using chess as an example, but that's what it is when you lose one of your pieces, you have to readjust and think, okay, with the pieces I have, what do I have to do? That's what cycling is exciting to me. It's like, what's this team going to do with this guy and this guy gone, And they seem to always come at the end of the tour, they come out okay, as a general rule. There's teams that finish with 3 people and end up getting, a stage win or something occasionally. And it's like, that's freaking awesome. But they have to, and that's what bike racing is all about. That's
and
the
history. The characters is such an integral part of especially those Grand Tours. And I think those are elements that I think the sport is missing out on, and that they need to, I hate to say the word exploit, but bring out a little bit more, because those things, when you're seeing a team like EF Easy Post, where they're not the big budget, but they're a bunch of scrappy riders. They're not going to win the tour overall, but you root for them because of what they're doing, and I think those are the elements that need to be really played upon.
I think they kind of do that with if you follow their YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah. They're the only team I really think that they do. I mean, every team has theirs, but it's not done as well as
Quit trying to propose a new league or a new way of racing. Start promoting the characters you have within the soap opera that is pro cycling. I mean, you look at, we talk about, I think, Paul, you brought up auto racing, Formula One, even NASCAR. I hate to say it, but you see people who have bought into their favorites. Literally, they have bought into their favorites. They're wearing their jerseys. They're wearing their hats. They're wearing those types of things. That is how you market the sport to, you don't need to have the super exclusive league. If EF Easy Post is especially now with Iran declaring his last season, if you're putting out marketing materials and stuff like that, I mean, that's how you make a profitable business model off of the sport. Lachlan Morton is case in point. He doesn't necessarily race.
Yeah, they threw him into like the Tour Down Under last year or something, and he was like, "Oh God."
But he's their biggest profit base.
Yeah.
I would argue that Lachlan Morton is their biggest celebrity on their team.
Yeah.
Because of the YouTube stuff, because of the long distance stuff he's doing. I think that's where our sport is missing out.
I mean, EF's the only of all the teams, the only one I feel most connected to. It's not because they're by any means like at the best. They're the people's team as far as
they have a presence.
Yeah. Like they're accessible. It's not like UAE is just like some uber rich Middle Eastern team that you're just like, oh, they have really good athletes, but you don't feel connected to them.
Well, it's the same thing with Sky too. It's like, oh, that's just a factory where they produce
Sky?
amazing.
Ineos.
How old are you?
That's a good
Jesus, you are a master.
It started then.
But like those Lachlan Morton videos, those made people feel connected to EF. So I mean, it'd be really cool if all the teams would put out things that made you like actually root for the team, not just like because you root for riders.
And I hate them, but people are going to wear bucket hats because of EF and stuff like that. They're going to do it. I mean, that's how you make it a profitable thing. All right, we didn't solve the sport.
No.
Anybody catch Crossworlds just as a recap piece?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fell asleep on both.
I'm yet to pay $150 for flow bikes.
With NordVPN.
Yes.
With NordVPN, you can. You just pretend you're Canadian.
Yeah. I'm close to it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It is worth it, in my opinion. Paul, you said you fell asleep.
Yeah, both of the races. I mean, I predicted
It was
1,
too
2,
easy.
3 on the women's, and I missed
Wait, I didn't
on the
get
men's
that?
by one last week.
Yeah.
Matthew Vanderpool led through the first corner, and that was
And
it.
it was over.
That was it.
Yeah. And it's not, at that point, then you're looking at, and the racing was good, down the line. And in the women's too, it's just like, I don't know. It seems like 4 years ago, we're talking about that's the only bike race anybody needs to
Yeah.
watch, and now it's like, oh,
What's the legitimacy of cross anymore?
yeah.
What? Really?
I've been saying
That's what he said.
I've been saying that for a while now. Like the fact that Matthew Van Der Poel and Wout van Aert can come in
And
after
Pidcock.
and Pidcock and not racing or training for that the entire year and absolutely murder the field. Is that really legitimate anymore?
Yeah, like we used to say it was separate.
Eli Easterbit's on line 2.
And in
Hey,
and in fifth, and in fourth place. Like who gives a shit? You're not even on the
You
podium.
should have said
Yeah.
line 4.
Line 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Line 4.
I know that sounds really mean. Obviously, they're like way better athletes than any of us sitting here. I'm not saying that I would be better, but it's like,
Yeah.
is it really?
Well, it's a traditional Belgian sport, and that's, that's how they get people started. But it isn't the hype that I think what happened is we came into it, or, like you and the majority, I kind of went away from cross. I watch it once in a while. But when road cyclists were competing, I'm watching. I'm a little more. Now I got to know the other guys, so when they don't show up, I still watch the other races. But it's not the same as road racing for me. But I think then what happened is we got all this hype, and then it's like, oh, this is the same thing every week.
Yeah.
Every week. All it is that splits between, like, Van der Poel ran into a post, so Van Aert wins. And, it's like...
It's funny
Yeah.
here
That's one
because
thing.
I could have sworn we were a full bar of people going, God, this dominance is cool.
I do. I
But
think
now
that
we're
it is.
tired of it?
I'm not tired of it. Honestly, I think it's really cool that he can dominate in both the road and then dominate. But I agree with him that the lackluster. I'll also say that it's kind of like Lionel Messi coming to the U.S. and making all the MLS players look like a fool.
Just shows how bad Americans are.
Yeah, right? And so it's just like, it's one of those things that whenever
Wow,
you take a
I
talent...
made fun of real estate agents, but Jax is making fun of the whole country.
No, American soccer players. That's like 40 guys.
Yeah.
Let's be real about
And
it.
there are a lot more real estate
Yeah.
agents than
Donovan is on line 2.
Yeah.
And retired.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna switch gears, and it's time for a full boat of segments. Everybody at the bar has got a segment, apparently, except me.
This whole podcast
The
is
whole
our
thing's your
segment.
segment, yeah.
This is, it is.
It's all about you.
Is it really though?
Yeah,
'Cause I'm
but
asking
that's what you
guys
want
questions
anyway,
the whole
isn't
time.
Yeah, and you bring us beer.
Yeah.
I'm here for the beer, but I say it's for you.
Fair play.
Feels right.
I can live with that. My wife's the same way with wine. Jax is like, God, I hope Mom's not listening. First off, because we're going in order of how you signed up. First off, we're going to check in with Paul for this week's Changing Times. From then to now, what works, what doesn't, and what can be done about it. I gave you a tagline there.
Yeah.
And I was just, this has been an interesting perspective and an interesting piece. So I like hearing where you go and where you take things.
I have to pull up my bullet points. So
That
I
is more
titled
than
this
fun.
one, and I always think I'm going to write, like, more
Yeah.
and put it on the line. And I will someday. Someday.
We got a magazine
There's always
waiting for
tomorrow.
all of you guys.
Or always next year.
I'm titling this one, When is Enough Enough?
Yeah.
So when I got started, there really wasn't any bike computers. You didn't have anything. You just rode. You tried to train. We didn't have heart rate monitors. You didn't know your power or anything. And there was
Yeah, there's no
we
microphones.
had nothing. No.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah.
Microphones.
Was there electricity back then?
Well, there was a
Hey.
few steam engine trains.
David, do you remember
And,
that odometer thing that was on the hub of our...
It clicked over. Yeah, they had those.
I know.
That's about it. But we didn't know our speed and everything. But then Avocet came out, and they had the Avocet 20.
Yep.
I always wondered what happened to 10. It must have been a pile of
It
crap.
was a piece of shit. Yeah. It's
So it gave you miles, distance, total distance, and
Speed.
and time. Yeah,
Speed.
Yes.
Speed, time,
total distance.
total distance.
Until your battery died and went to zero.
Yeah.
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 And then you're like, oh, I lost all my miles. I don't know how many miles. So, and then they came out with a 30, which was a little bit smaller than the 35, and they had the small little, and you had to run a wire and a magnet down, and you had to calibrate it and everything.
Yeah.
So then the next thing came out was, and I remember Sigma Sport, it came out, or Sigma came out with a computer that went with the heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
They were very popular with the triathletes.
Polar
Huge.
did it too, I think.
Yeah, Polar.
Polar,
Polar
yeah.
was
Yeah.
in conjunction with
Yeah.
I think Sigma was the what was it? It was a German. Was it Sigma? Anyway, anyway, so then we had heart rate monitor and speed and all that. And then along comes power, and only a few people had power. And then that kind of altered the way people are training and racing too. And the big one is Sky for the older people in this. That's now Ineos. Just to let you know.
yeah.
I don't know if you knew, Sam. They changed sponsors
8 years ago.
Yeah. But racing got pretty boring because then, they could calculate and they would just have a train, and it made for terrible racing. But then there's people that broke that mold, and diet became a big deal. But outside of that, now they have glucose monitors. You can't use them on races, but you can train
David's
with them.
got one on right now.
Is it? Yeah.
I got one for free. Yeah.
Yeah. So and
Jesus.
to me, all
Kids
these things,
days.
and then the other thing now they're working with is body core temperature. So you wear a band, and so you can lose up to 25% of your, or 25% of your power when your body core gets so high. I think that's the number, if I remember correctly. So if we have all this information coming into a database, this is where Formula One comes in. So in Formula One, they used to have the engineers design a car. They send out their drivers, and they do the course. And they said in turn 2, it seems to be sliding a little bit. Okay, we'll adjust the camber on this, blah, 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 blah. And they do all this. Now, they don't even listen to the drivers. They say, hey, I think I can go faster here. And then they put in all this, electronically, they can actually figure out, or you could go faster. They tell the driver you can go faster if you brake like 2 seconds on this corner, like fraction of a second here and there. To me, it's like all of a sudden I want to fall back to, it was so cool to go out there and learn about your own body, where your limits were, and that type of thing. And I do not want to see the sport go to the point where guys wearing glucose monitors and core temperature things.
Yeah,
and
David.
People, and I think for training to know where your body is, but should we allow those things? Because technology is cycling just one of those deadbeat things. Oh, that will never change. Yeah. But it kind of, to me, ruins cycling. The most exciting races that I've seen in the last couple of years at Worlds, there's no radios.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean, that radios were a big thing. And then if you think about this Worlds, no one knew chasing Vanderpool that he had crashed.
Yeah.
All of them in that chase group were like, we had no idea. But back in our day, you had no information.
Yeah.
You ran because you don't know what the hell's going on in front. And that guy could crash or flat or something. You race like hell no matter what. You don't say, well, we're racing for a second. Mm-hmm. And I think that the problem with when is enough? When do we cut that off?
The human element and the ability to fuck up is lost.
Yeah. I have thoroughly agreed with that for a very long time. I would say heart rate monitors and like your basic computer that has the GPS where you have like the maps, you can see the hills, all that. You could sure, great. But I would even eliminate power meters. I'd definitely eliminate the radios. Definitely no glucose monitors, any of that type of stuff. Just because it would make for a totally different sport. Like so many riders nowadays are just robots and are just fed the information of you need to eat right now. You need to do this. This person's this far ahead. You can bridge at that power. And it's like, no, it takes a lot of it away. Instead of knowing your own body and being like, I think I can get there, well, try it.
And that's
then
the
you
thing.
Implode and you don't.
To me, I have no problems with people training with that.
Yeah.
And you have to tap that into your mind. It's like, okay, this is a sensation that I feel when I'm low on sugar. I mean, that's where you have to make that balance. Instead of having somebody in your ear going, okay, it's been an hour and a half. You took, so many grams of carbon. And it should be something that on the bike that should be done. Teams need to make that communication. Yeah. And the old-fashioned way of dropping back to the team car and faking that you have a mechanical, I know it sounds cheesy, and saying, hey, so-and-so looks a little tired. Should we attack them? They're doing. Yeah. And for an example, if you want to see how that was done, you can go to the 1988 Paris-Roubaix, and I think it was CBS did that coverage. And Andy Hampson, believe it or not, was in the Paris-Roubaix not to finish, but he actually is bringing coats back, and it's
Yeah.
like mentioning what's going on and that type of thing. And so that part of cycling was cool.
Yeah.
But when it's all in your ear and you see guys, you know,
Yeah.
reaching and grabbing their jersey and speaking into it, it's, I don't know. But I think
Right.
a lot of that. Sorry to drag this on. I don't like, because radios were the big push was safety. If there's a crash up ahead, that thing, I totally understand that, and I'm not taking away that, but I don't want to see glucose being in there. Well, for the safety's sake, or you know whatever
Yeah.
they're gonna.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Okay. Next off, he's still got his own theme.
Heck yeah.
That's some BS.
It is. But this is a good one.
I was here before him.
Ask Dr. David. This week's question is a bit sensitive. This one actually came. This one just came to me recently from a listener. Dr. David, I'm only asking this question because I feel it's something that many cyclists deal with but are afraid to ask. How do cyclists deal with issues arising from hemorrhoids? Causes, treatments, and prevention. A very, very sensitive topic indeed.
Very sensitive.
And you would think, and this could also probably come into a position type of a bike fit type of an issue, but dealing with the dreaded hemorrhoids and how do you train through it? Do you, I mean, you know, and things along those lines.
Yeah. I just have to start by saying I couldn't stop thinking about
Hemorrhoids?
Sam during all this.
Did I have hemorrhoids?
I mean, you just scream hemorrhoids, everything about the risk
my
factors,
God.
and yeah. So, I mean,
What are the risk factors?
he's gonna get hemorrhoids. Is what I'm getting at. So, I think that what's more
Being
important,
able to
is
put out
talking
more
about
power.
risk
Yeah.
factors. I think, you know, what causes it, and then like things you can do is definitely important. I think there's some thought that cycling can cause hemorrhoids because you know, stick a skinny seat between your cheeks or something like that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there's no actual evidence to support that. The hemorrhoids are typically caused by prolonged like straining or intra-abdominal pressure. So weightlifters actually, they do have a higher instance of hemorrhoids later in life, and that's from the bearing down, like the really heavy exercise. Not the, yeah, like, and then people who don't eat enough fiber, constipated. Actually, people who sit on the toilet for too long and send their sister-in-law memes all the time. You know,
That's why I'm
that's
making
a risk
second,
factor.
Second water closet downstairs. It's
Oh,
my
yeah.
shitting closet.
It's your meme closet.
Yeah, shitting and sending memes. But don't sit on the toilet for too long. It's not sitting on a seat, it's sitting on the toilet, straining, low fiber diet, that sort of thing. It's that intra-abdominal
Seriously,
pressure.
just physically sitting on a toilet seat is going
Well,
to cause that?
That's what they
You
say.
spread your
Because
cheek
it's
out.
poking out, poking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the physical irritation of a saddle shouldn't be causing hemorrhoids, though it could cause them to be irritated. There's two types of hemorrhoids. The ones that everybody on this podcast is going to care about and the listeners are external. It just has to do with the vein that's dilated. Those are the painful ones. And it happens to the best of us, even the most healthy of people. As for whether or not you can train through it, it's going to depend heavily on how painful it is for you. You're very unlikely to make it worse just by rubbing on it. You're just going to make it painful. And you're not going to like bleed out and die from it, even though you might see a little blood on the toilet paper. But you can do things like sitz baths and hydrocortisone cream. But in terms of prevention, it's really just a healthy lifestyle, high fiber diet, don't strain, you know, I mean, limited amount of heavy exercise. You don't want to do it like a bodybuilder, but
So you're
know.
telling me I
alcohol.
gotta relax on the toilet? I mean, what if I'm in a hurry?
Have you ever tried
Just
just like,
places to be, man.
you know,
I got shit to do.
Just turn on some music,
just sit down and
light a
scream
candle,
and, like,
you know, like just
Take
set the
what's
mood,
this,
and then it's just
scream.
yeah, just
So
sit
you
down
just
like,
said-
I gotta go, ah! And then like push and poop and run, or what? Like, what are you doing on the toilet?
I'm not saying this is all about me.
Oh, it's awfully suspicious, but
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind the swelling. It's the itching I can't stand.
and that's it. They have topical treatments, and otherwise
Yeah.
you could just get surgery. But like, you know, they're not life threatening. They're super inconvenient. You know, fiber really. But most of the things we do as cyclists actually help prevent hemorrhoids. Just living a healthy cardiovascular lifestyle of endurance exercise. I think we're all diet conscious, trying to eat right, that sort of a thing. So, yeah.
What are you fuckers looking at me for?
Well,
All right. Next happens to be Jackson's opportunity. Did you have a style tips?
Yes.
Style points this week.
Came up with something.
Style points with Jackson, and I need some sort of I'm too sexy for my Jackson.
That's great.
I need something like that. Yeah.
So- I now want you,
Me.
Patrick Bolger,
Yes.
to take a breath and let me take over for a second.
Does that mean I can use the restroom?
Yeah, I've got
Sweet.
questions.
pee break.
You can relax. This is your time to take it easy. So, I have a few questions. So the first one is, because this is a style-based section, what do you typically like to wear on a daily basis outside of work? This is outside of work. Let's say you're going out on, it could be a date, could be you're going out somewhere. What would you specifically like to wear? What is the thing that you reach for first? Sam. Lululemon. So like pants, Lululemon, shirt, all of it.
Undies.
Okay.
All of it's Lululemon.
What shoes do you typically reach for? Your boots?
Always my red backs.
Okay. Paul, what about you?
I always start with the shoes,
Okay.
and I have a plethora of them. So it could be
Really?
anything. Yeah.
How many do you have?
I don't know, like
great shoes.
15.
You notice?
15 pair.
That's how I am too. Yeah.
I have Fluvogs, Doc Martens, these goofy little Simpson tennis shoes. I only have 2 pairs of tennis shoes. I have 1940s work boots that I use. They're kind of cool. I have buttload.
Yeah. So you base your outfit around the shoes.
Yeah,
first.
the shoes first.
See, I love that. I love that. Okay. David, what about you?
I also base mine around which boot. I have 2 pairs of boots. That's it.
Okay.
And I don't even own tennis shoes. And so I'm like, which boot am I going to wear? One's black, one's brown. And then I build the outfit up. You can't, I usually like brown boots, black pants sort of thing.
Right.
Don't like shorts really. Rather
Okay.
wear pants and something comfortable on top. I don't really dress up very well, so.
So I guess then that, David, what you said kind of like leads me into my next thing. Do you prioritize function over fashion?
Yes, heavily.
Sam, you
Heavily.
would rather be comfortable than looking a specific way.
Yep.
Okay. Paul?
More fashion than function.
Yeah?
I would say, not drastically, but yeah.
Mhm.
I won't choose any clothes. I won't wear any clothes that's not comfortable. But
Yeah,
fashion is more on my side.
for sure. Okay, David?
Function.
Function.
Yeah,
Okay.
function for sure.
So you're more wanting it to be comfortable rather than specifically look a type of way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now that you're back, do you prioritize function over fashion?
Are you asking me if the Dayglow rain jacket kept me dry, would I wear it?
Well,
Hell no.
Day to day. Day to day. When you're walking.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you prioritize? Would you rather be
You're
comfortable or look a
fashionable.
specific way?
I give a shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when it goes, here's a question for all of us.
I mean, you think this happens by accident? I mean, this
No.
takes work.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few here, so if we get a little too
all right.
long, let me know. When you're on the bike, do you care about specific clothing pieces? So when you're like,
Yes.
like, does a jersey go with the shorts type of situation? So Sam, you do. You instantly said that.
Oh, yeah.
Room
Yeah.
full of roadies.
That matters.
Paul?
I used to not care, but now I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Even down to the socks, which used to not be a
Yeah.
thing for me, but now it is.
Uh huh.
Definitely. Yeah.
You do?
I definitely care more on the bike than regular clothes.
Okay. What about
Yep.
you? Yeah, you care specifically. I do too. I
100%.
think that it's a very
100%.
interesting.
This is a roadie dynamic, too.
Well, exactly. Because
Yeah,
what
yeah.
my next thing is, do you keep up with cycling trends? Because there are 100% cycling trends. I have pictures here specifically talking about cycling trends. We see MAP is one of these brands. We're seeing a lot of earth tone type of pictures or fashion trends going in the world of
and
cycling.
this was what pisses me off, because I think we're like maybe 15 seconds ahead of the trends, and that's it. Because like our kit for next year is going to be more earthy, and now everybody's going to be doing it, and we're just going to look like a bunch of bandwagoners.
Yeah. So would we all collectively say that we kind of pay attention to that stuff a little bit, buy into what it looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To a point.
Yeah.
There's some colors and stuff I may be trendy. I would not wear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not a fan of purples and pinks.
Right.
I mean,
Or
that's
neon
just me
yellow.
personally.
Yeah.
Neon. None
Or
of
those-
the neons are.
Or those Oakley glasses that go over the bridge of
Yeah.
the nose.
yeah, those are super cool. One of my last two
I
questions
should have
here.
stayed in the bathroom, shouldn't I?
Yeah. would you as an individual consider yourself a fashionable person? Sam?
Only when I want to be.
So when you really put an effort out.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, would you say it comes naturally? Like you go into a closet and you just pick items that
I think I totally can. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that I can pick an outfit that I would look fashionable in, but I do not choose that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, because my wife will tell me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
she's the one that really,
Yeah.
I think I'm looking good, and she'll say no. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's on my mind.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. David, what about you?
No,
No?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you don't feel like you have that internal like knack for it? You can just like pick it and it's fashionable?
I don't think so. No.
You walked
Okay.
in with the tousled wet hair tonight, though. It was good. And you got the curl thing going on there a little bit, you know.
That's just his genetics.
That's just genetic. I don't. It's
He
not.
doesn't do it. He just got out of
Yeah.
the shower because he probably came from the hospital or something.
MRSA.
MRSA.
What do you think?
I try to dress my age.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's really respectable. I think dressing your age is something that a lot of people don't understand, and I think if you're dressing like a 20-year-old as a 50-year-old,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're out of that league, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does. You can incorporate aspects, but after a while, it does look a little childish. And so something that all of these questions have led up to
Which is why I don't wear skin suits, because it doesn't fit my age.
so
I
something.
think it's shape.
Yeah.
Or my what's the word? Or what's my no?
Fupa.
Your fupa.
Yeah. So something that I have been seeing a lot lately, because I do watch, I would say I just like to watch sports lately, and something that I have noticed arising a lot lately is the team aspect or individual aspect in terms of American sports showing up in a specific look. So in terms of
You
soccer,
need to start sending me these images, and I can put them up on the big
yeah,
screen.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But so this is AC Milan. They, last year,
Letterman jacket?
yeah, these Letterman's jackets are actually from a brand called Off-White, which is a very high-end designer brand.
Oh.
And they all showed up in these. Each and every one of these people. We also see the U.S. women's national team showing up in things like this. Suits. This is Barcelona. They have specific designers create this stuff for them.
Very kind of opening ceremonies, Olympic type of a
Yeah.
look to it.
Yeah. We see, I mean, this was Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl. He showed up in a custom, I don't know the brand here, but a custom entire suit.
Yeah.
We have Pat Mahomes. These all are like individual athletes showing up in certain looks. And it's like, it's a thing now. We don't really see that in cycling. And so my last question here is, how would you feel if cycling turned to that a little bit more? Turned into, instead of everybody showing up in track pants and a comfortable t-shirt, because I will say, we as a cycling group off the bike, we are not a fashionable crew. We all like the sweats. We all like the t-shirts that are from races that are kind of cool maxi.
Yeah.
And so I think, how would you feel if you began to see Primoz Roglic show up with the Bora Hansgrohe team and they're all in Louis Vuitton suits?
Wow.
I did really love with Audi when we had like race attire, and then we had
Arc'teryx.
podium attire, and then we did have some like we had some nice Arc'teryx pants and an Arc'teryx polo, and I thought it was pretty cool to like show up in like matching fancy Arc'teryx clothes to a race, and then have like something to put on for the podium. I thought that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I couldn't pick it out. I liked to wear it though.
There was a day back in the 80s where, as a member of Arrivee, we had a wool jacket with the stitching on the back that I still have somewhere around here, and we also had polos that said Arrivee Cycling on them that you would show up to a race and wear afterwards and on a podium and things like that, instead of a helmet.
It's a don't.
I say
Him.
I've never worn a helmet.
on the podium.
Yeah.
Yeah, never.
That's a fat lie.
Yeah, it is.
You have
Pictures
to.
to prove.
I am.
Yeah. Don't wear a helmet on the podium. Anybody ever?
But I feel like the only one that I did was when I crossed the finish line and the race was the 2-3 race or something like that.
It's a two-finger buckle, man. Two
I get
fucking
that,
fingers. Just clip.
But when you roll across and they literally just shove a podium in front of you and say, "All right, hop up," and it's like that fast.
Was
And
that
I'm like,
Portland where I didn't have my helmet on?
No, you had your helmet on too.
I don't think you did I think Sam's just trying to make up. He's just like, oh, I crossed the line. I had to grab both brakes. They shoved the podium in front of me.
It's true.
This isn't some. By the way, Jackson, to answer your question, I think that would be so cool for the pro ranks of the sport. I even think for like the Grand Tours when they have the riders all on the stage or something like that, you don't need to see them on their bikes. Have them all out there looking.
I agree.
I would agree, but I really hate the like styled stuff. I want just like a suit.
Yeah.
Like that's great.
Yeah,
I'm
Gucci.
on board. Yeah.
But
It can
that's
be
what I'm
whatever
saying,
brand you want, but I just don't want the like plaid or
Do we need
whatever.
podium
It's
gear?
just black and white.
Do we need
Yes.
pre and post podium gear, gentlemen?
Yes, we do.
See, I like the idea of podium gear. It gets to a specific point, though. I think Rafa has done it very well. They made the casual or they made like polos look a little bit normal. I hate a Cool Max polo. I despise it. I think it's the ugliest thing in the world. Just a black Cool Max polo makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
I
Too
agree.
shiny.
Yeah,
too,
just
ugh.
it's gross to me. I hate that type of style. Like
Just
UAE
bleeds.
has them.
Just bleeds golf.
Yeah, UAE has them, and I hate them. I hate them so much.
But Arc'teryx has like really nice. Rafa, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's several brands out there that I think are great. Like just have a rebate.
Step up the
printed on
style
them.
game, cyclists.
Well,
Exactly.
It was there. If
And-
you
And
ever
burn
watch
your Crocs.
if you
burn
ever-
your Crocs.
if you
Wow.
ever
I'm
watch
done with
Hell of the North,
Yeah.
the 1976 documentary about Paris-Roubaix, you watch Eddie Merckx show up
This is-
and Roger
yeah.
Deflamik. They're in then leisure suits.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
it's
were styled. They
sweet.
tied. I mean, they would come out of the car and unload their stuff. They were decked out back
That's
in
the
the
way
day.
to do it, because
Yeah.
then you know, like, it
They're
is
in
game
it.
time.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
You know
it's
what?
time to.
And this is going to make me sound even older. I remember dressing up to go on an airplane.
Yeah.
It's
and out to
different.
dinner. And out to
Yeah.
dinner.
I thought that was the
Out to
parties.
dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my parents when I first started flying,
Yeah.
you would have to dress up nicely.
Yeah.
Rich Hincapie, who was a buddy of mine back then, his family worked for the airlines, and he would fly on standby because he would get free tickets. He wore a full-on suit every time he entered an airport because he didn't know if he was going to get a ticket or not. And the more professional he looked, the better chances he got of getting a ticket. So yeah,
my
you're dressing
gosh.
nice. Yeah. I mean,
That's
you know what?
wild.
There is an element that has been lost in terms of personal respect in those elements. You know, that style forward thing. And yes, but it's in our sport because you look at all the professional athletics, football,
Yeah.
football,
all
those
different.
types of things. People are dressing up. People are dialing it in. Maybe we got to do that. There we go. Jackson, good style points. Last but not leastly, it's time for a fit tip with Bike Fit Sam, courtesy of our friends at Ambassador Cycling. Be sure and check out ambassadorcycling.com for all the information and book an appointment with the one and only himself. Sam, this is an interesting one about knee pain, exterior,
Interior.
and anterior.
Yeah, so the front of your knee.
And how you mentioned how indoor training can exacerbate it to an extent.
Yeah, it's not uncommon that anything gets exasperated. Whoa.
Exacerbated.
Yeah.
It's that Kirkland sparkling water.
It
you're
is
drinking
hitting.
there.
That's just different. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, no, anything will be made worse on a trainer. And so what I have found is, and it most of the time if the rider goes and rides outside, it might even hide itself, and it's not really a problem. They get on the trainer in the fall, and it's like, the front of my knee hurts.
Yeah.
And a nice thing about like this, I just did a fit on a guy, a local racer last week, and it's like I always just start with in these numbers, right? Like if we get you set within these ranges, which is what I've been trained under, then we know exactly where that goes, right? You can still make a good judgment guess on like if you have anterior knee pain. I'm gonna assume you might be too far forward and you get this shearing at the knee if the foot is clipped in, because the arthrokinematics, throwing out a big word here for us.
Whoa.
That is joint.
It's bigger than exacerbate.
I know. That's how the joint is supposed to move. And so if you are clipped in, the tibia on the femur is not able to translate correctly if you are too far forward, and you can get a shearing on your front of your knee, and that causes pain in the front of the knee. So if you're too far forward in your saddle, that can cause it. And if you're too extended, it can cause it. So if you're really reaching at the bottom of the pedal stroke, usually a little bit more quad dominant and less hamstrings are involved, you get imbalances as well. And so anterior knee pain, I'd recommend lowering the saddle, start there. And then if it's still not fixing it, maybe try to move it back.
And when you're on the trainer, because you're so rarely out of the saddle and you're not adjusting your position, that's where it's going to compound the issue.
Yep. Yeah. So if you're standing and you're, getting out of the saddle, it'll usually like settle all the issues down.
I hate getting out of the saddle on the trainer.
I know.
It feels so stupid.
Because it's just locked in. And maybe on like the newer stuff where it can rock and roll, like it would be better. But
the fore-aft thing looks just stupid to me.
Yeah. Does it also rock side to side?
No.
Those rocker trainer boards seem pretty cool, but also I'm not about to spend $1,000.
The amount of price you're putting into that is just ridiculous. Yeah. Elite for a while there was it Elite or what was the green trainer?
Oh, Kinetic.
Kinetic.
They had a rocker side to side. Yeah,
I have that in my basement. It works nice. It's
not smart.
It's not a smart trainer.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, before we sign off, it is the season of love. And I want to know, this has got to be a short answer because we're at 1:31 already. Your short answer final K question for tonight is, what is the most romantic thing you can do that involves bikes? Most romantic thing you can do that involves bikes. And you can't say, tell my wife I won't get any bikes. I won't touch any bikes. I won't talk about bikes. Let's go out to dinner. That doesn't count. So what is the most romantic thing you can do that involves bikes? Does anybody want to jump into this realm of fire? Sam?
Push my wife up a hill. Or let her draft me.
Anybody else?
Yeah. We ride our cruisers to Mary Hill and have some wine and some food.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Downtown dweller.
Yeah.
My wife and I have done quite a few like cycling oriented vacations, and just having her having the ability to just show up and like have everything planned.
Oh, okay.
Like, she loves it. Just being able to like know that she gets to ride her bike every day, eat good food, drink good booze.
There you go.
Have a warm bed.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. With you, without shaved legs.
With normal unshaved legs.
Yeah, not scratching the shit out of her
in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
And cause us to pay a fee to the Airbnb for ruining their sheets.
Jackson.
There's other ways.
To tear a sheet?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like a beach cruiser type of situation, that type of thing. Honestly, to be honest, I will say that not riding.
You've got a non-cycling wife.
Yeah, and it's not that she's not interested in it at all. It's just that like it's just not her. Yeah, it's not her vibe. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know, giving them the time of day. Not always talking about my bike. I know you said not to say that, but just like
you went straight into it.
I know, but it's just like being present.
She loves riding those things, and if I were to take the time and load the damn thing on the car, she loves our mountain bike tandem. And it doesn't have to be a long ride. It doesn't have to be a hard ride. It doesn't have to be fast. It's just going. And it's honestly, when
you're talking about the bike, not long, hard, fast.
No. Well, fast.
Oh, okay. All right. Trying to get the activity squared away what you're talking about there.
Mark my words, I'm buying a tandem at the bike swap this year.
There are it's a marriage counselor. Much fun. It's a marriage counselor to a certain extent because you have to work together.
Yeah,
you cannot both just pedal a bike.
Yep.
You have to swing together.
There you go.
You have to put your keys in the proper fishbowl and then hope that your wife picks your keys out because then you're but it is
when you stand to go up a hill, for instance.
Oh my God,
like
it's
that,
still
right?
she and I've been doing tandem. It is very hard, and it. Jesus.
See?
And she and I have not mastered the art of standing up still after all these years.
God, this guy. How many beers did you have tonight?
This one.
Just what? 9%.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I would love to get into a discussion about tandeming.
Yeah, let's
Didn't
do it
work out
next
for
week.
my wife and
Anyways,
I.
next week.
Not
No,
at
you
all.
did it once.
Yeah.
The first tandem ride my wife and I went on, we did a 20-mile hangman loop, and it took us almost 2 hours. It was horrible.
Well, that wasn't our issue. It was the saddle wasn't proper.
Oh, no,
And it
yeah.
ruined our anniversary.
And
I'm just saying that.
Which was a week later.
And we know that it wasn't Paul that was ruined because we've all seen his saddle.
Yeah.
He is pervious.
And it was your wife's saddle.
it was my wife's
Yeah,
saddle,
yeah,
and
we
that
bought
is
the bike.
a
Personal.
it's a very specific thing within
Yes,
itself.
yes, it
yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yep.
all right, Paul ruined it for me, made
Yeah.
it dirty.
Yeah. I did that.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Gentlemen, thank you for being here. It's so good to be back after a week off. Everybody who listening to this show, please like, subscribe, tell a friend. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every time I ask somebody to do that, a couple of you guys do it, and it's such a help for when all these things come together. And go to packfiller.com and click on those sponsor links. I know it sounds cheesy, and I know it sounds selfish, but damn it is selfish. I got to keep these guys in beer.
Where's the outro?
Oh, I was supposed to do it the whole time.
Yeah.
1 week off.
Man.
I'm gonna have to pick the shorter one, the shorter, more mellow one. This one just sounds like a.
I like
Piano
it.
bar.
This sounds like
Yeah.
Minecraft music. I'm going to
Sounds
tell you that right now.
classy,
Yeah.
honestly.
Also sounds like a little
I need some
bit of Charlie
bourbon
Brown.
right now with
Oh
this.
my god, I haven't had bourbon.
Speaking
We'll
of,
bust it
Since-
out this weekend.
have you guys gone to Purgatory?
Oh,
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Not until I die.
No. There's a place downtown, which I live. My wife and I went there for lunch, and it's
They
our
have good
place.
food too.
Yeah,
They have
they
good
have good
drinks.
Oh, you're talking about a restaurant. I think you're
Yeah.
talking about like when I die, like the middle ground, like where they judge me.
The whiskey list is 2 pages.
Did you
long.
touch yourself?
Oh.
It's insane.
No.
Definitely not.
Oh, Jack's over here plugging his ears.
Au revoir.